Hey guys, Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum. Sheila and Fred both in front of the camera.
Hi! Hope you're all having a great day.
Guys, this is going to be a different type of video. You may never even see it until we're done with it and see how it turns out. This is not correcting history. This is not being passionate with nobody. This is just going to be history. This is Sheila and somebody else had a great idea for this video.
I agree.
And what we're going to do here today is December the 31st, New Year's Eve. Happy birthday, Sheila.
Thank you. I wonder if you was going to throw that in there.
Today's Sheila's birthday. She was born on December the 31st.
Yep.
So today's her birthday. Now, you know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, let's see what a video's worth. All through history, it's been written and said, and people's learned to dislike him over it. People have said Randall McCoy was, he never talked to nobody. He was a mean man. Devil Lance wanted to make up and be friends, but he never would do it.
Yeah, he was always angry.
Always angry. And what we want to do here, we want to set the scene.
Okay.
Today's New Year's Eve, 1887.
Right.
Tomorrow is the first day of January, 1888. Randall McCoy, Sarah McCoy,
Calvin, Alifair, Melvin, and Cora.
Melvin and Cora, that was Tolbert's children. Now remember, Randall and Sarah was keeping them after the Hatfields had killed, the West Virginia Hatfields, Devil Lance more specifically, had killed the three boys. They killed Tolbert. That's the first one that Devil Lance shot. He told them they could pray, and as they started to pray, when they seen that he was really serious and it was really going to happen, when they actually bowed their heads to pray, Devil Lance blew Tolbert's head off. So Randall and Sarah, I think Sarah was 62, Randall was around 66 at the time. Don't hold us to none of this stuff.
Ages, yeah.
This is going to be casual. We're not going to be downstairs running from wall to wall, from building to building in the museum to show you things. Sheila may have some stuff at the end of the video.
I'll put, pictures at the end. So
But we're going to go by memory and just try to help us, if you would. Help us go through this. You go through this with us and see what you think. Let's see if you would have ever forgiven the man that is getting ready to do what's getting ready to take place in this cabin on December the 31st, 1887.
in Randall's cabin. Yeah.
Randall's cabin, Randall and Sarah. Adeline, was that her name? I think they had a daughter, Adeline.
I knew there was another one there.
She was there at the cabin also. So you had Randall and Sarah's children, and then you had the two grandchildren.
Right.
Then you had Randall and Sarah. It's about 8, 9 o'clock at night, and cold winter night. Sarah and Randall had built them a good fire house. The cabin was good and warm for the children. Of course, if you've ever lived with a coal stove, a fireplace, you know that you put your coal on there, your lump coal, and then you dump a bucket of slack coal on top of it, smothers it out more or less. And then about 12, 1 o'clock at night, it'll pick up and it'll burn like crazy and heats the house up again. And about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you're frozen to death because the fire's going out.
You don't want to get up.
Somebody's got to get up and keep the fire going. So Randall and Sarah had a good fire going. More than likely Sarah. That was usually the woman's job in the house, in the cabin. She would keep the house warm. It was the husband's job to bring the wood in, the coal, whatever they were eating by.
They were using at that time.
They'd had them a good supper, and they've all gone to bed for tonight. They're going to wake up tomorrow in a new year with new dreams,
New Day.
New Passions.
Yep.
Now on the other side of the river, on the other side of the Tug River, just as the crow flies, probably less than 5 miles down the road, is the Hatfield family. Devil Anse Hatfield, the West Virginia Hatfields. Some people like to call them the Logan Wildcats. Let's call them what the people in Kentucky in the court system call them, the Hatfield gang. The West Virginia Hatfield gang. Just like the Jesse James gang, the Cole Younger gang. They were a gang. So they're over in West Virginia, and what are they doing, Sheila?
Drinking moonshine and partying.
Drinking moonshine and partying. That's what the West Virginia Hatfields are doing.
Yep,
Now,
they're celebrating New Year's Eve.
celebrating New Year's Eve. Now you got to understand that what's just taken place within a couple of weeks previous to this day is John B. Floyd has shown up at Devil Anse Hatfield's home place. John B. Floyd was a state representative and a friend of Devil Anse's, a friend of the governor, Willis Wilson. Willis Wilson, 7th governor of West Virginia. Buddy, in any time, you won't bother me.
No, you're doing good. I'll do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put in whenever.
And John B. Floyd had come from Charleston to Devil Anse's just a couple of weeks prior to this day. And he showed Devil Anse this warrant. Now understand that the warrants on the Hatfields, the indictments warrants, this wasn't just warrants where somebody swore out a warrant for an arrest. This is where they had a grand jury. The grand jury met, they heard the evidence against these people, and they voted to indict. Now the indictment means that there's enough probable cause there for that person, in this case 20 people on that list.
Yeah.
There's enough probable cause that they committed a crime in Kentucky that they're going to have to stand trial. So a warrant is issued for their arrest. Now, remember after they killed the 3 McCoy boys, they hightailed it back to West Virginia, and they pretty much stayed there, and they stayed in caves, and they stayed hid. And you had Frank Phillips, different ones trying to arrest them, and they wasn't getting nowhere. If you've ever been in the mountains where we're from, you ain't gonna find nobody if they don't want to be found.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
There's plenty of places to hide.
Oh yeah. John B. Floyd went to Devil Anse a couple of weeks prior to this day, and he showed them that warrant that Samuel Buckner had sent to Willis Wilson. And Simon Buckner had only been the governor for a little while, and they couldn't seem to bring the West Virginia Hatfields to justice to answer for their crimes. So the governor felt, I'll put a reward on it. Put a reward on it. Put a $500 reward on each one of them, especially on the Hatfields. Johnsy, Cat, Jim Vance, Devil Anse.
Devil Anse, yeah.
All the guys on that list downstairs, 20 of them, $500 reward. That's a lot of money back then. 1887, $500. That's a lot of money today.
Yeah.
There's people out there, bounty hunters, that's how they made their living, by going around just collecting bounty. And that was a good bounty. Anyway, Frank Phillips had made several trips over into West Virginia attempting to arrest the Hatfields on the warrants. To no avail. They always hid out. You know, one fella says, well, they just kept pounding and pounding and pounding. They just kept coming. The McCoys just kept coming to West Virginia. And finally, you can just take it so long and you have to fight back.
Wasn't that what the McCoys was trying to do?
That's what got the warrants issued in the first place. They fought back.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been best if Devil Anse just let the justice system took the 3 McCoy boys to Hatfield jail, went to trial, and see what happened with the justice system?
2 wrongs don't make a right.
2 wrongs don't make a right. Right. And he wanted to make a name for himself. He wanted to show them that he was little man Anse Hatfield, playing a big man. Anyway, let's don't go there. Let's don't. Sheila told me before we started, don't. So I won't attack Devil Anse. Let's just tell the story for what it is.
That's right.
You all come up to your own conclusion about this fellow they called Devil Anse. This man they've made a hero out of over the years. So John B. Floyd told Devil Anse, the governor's got this warrant here from Kentucky, governor, and they want you and your family, your boys, sent back to Kentucky to stand trial. And I don't know what else to tell you. Eventually, the bounty hunters are going to start coming in for the bounty, and I don't know how much pressure Samuel Buckner is going to put on the governor trying to get something done to extradite you guys back. He leaves. Now, here we are on New Year's Eve, 1887. Sheila and I don't think the West Virginia Hatfields gave this a lot of thought.
No, I don't think so.
They didn't give it a lot of thought. They were, like she says, they were drinking moonshine, they were partying, having a good time.
Yeah.
Anse, of course, is doing like Anse always did. He's manipulating, he's instigating, he's trying to figure out a way out of this mess that he's got everybody in. And as he thinks about it, he calls Jim Vance, he calls Cat, he calls Johnsy, he called Wall into the building, the smokehouse outside, because the women folk, everybody was inside. These guys were out in the barn, out in the smokehouse, places like that, just enough to stay warm, out of the weather. He calls them in there and he says, guys, we got to do something. They put out rewards for us on these warrants from back in '88.
Yeah.
And something's got to be done. Of course, they talk about it. What do you propose, Anse? And Anse said, we got to kill them all. We got to kill the witnesses. Now, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Right.
Was you there, Sheila?
Nope.
Sheila wasn't there neither.
Definitely.
Now, Anse and Sheila's going to put these statements, which is where we're getting what we're going on right now. Huh?
What we're leading up to.
Yeah, we're going by statements in that book. We're going by the statements of Ellison Cotton Top Hatfield, which was the illegitimate son of Ellison Hatfield. And we're going by Alex Messer. That's their statements that they swore to and they gave. And there was no reason for them to lie at that time. They were caught. They were trying to make it easy on themselves, and they told it like it was. Cotton Top told it so good that he got hung for it.
Yeah.
You talk about being truthful, which we don't think he was truthful. We'll get to that at another time. But as far as killing Alifair, we don't think Cotton Top's the one that actually killed Alifair. But that's a different story. Let's go on. So Anse tells these people, according to these statements that these boys gave, they said that Jim Vance called them all together and told them, said, boys, I want you to listen to everything that I say. Everything that we're going to do, you've got to do. Everything I tell you.
You got to follow
through.
directions, what I say, yeah.
Now, initially, because in his statement there, the guy said that Devil Anse and Jim and them had told them, we've got to get rid of the witnesses. Now listen, if we can get rid of the witnesses, we still might be arrested on those warrants from 1888, but they'll have to let us go because there's nobody to testify against us.
From 1888, I mean 1882.
Thank you, baby. That's what she's good for. Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
1882. We've got to get rid of the witnesses. Now, if you'll remember, Sarah went to the old schoolhouse where they had her boys locked up. Tolbert's wife went to the old schoolhouse. Jim McCoy went to the old schoolhouse to see his brothers. So there's several witnesses. Now, if they can get rid of witnesses, they don't have to worry about being arrested. Let them arrest them, because if you go to jail and then they get ready to stand trial, who's going to be a witness against you? Nobody. Guys, I don't know if you've put it together yet, but who else do you think in your life or in history that you've watched movies or shows on, or who else do you think would come up with something like this? What other organization? How about the mafia? How about the mob? Kill the witnesses. What do you think hitmen are for? Where do you think hitmen originated? Get rid of the witnesses. They can take us to court. There's nobody to testify against us. And that was their plan. Kill them all. Let God sort them out. That was their plan. Now, sad thing is, and we've talked about this, when they went there to kill Sarah, Randall, Jim McCoy, Tolbert's wife, that's the witnesses from 1882, but now what do we have?
More witnesses.
Well, you got more witnesses. You got Calvin, you've got the little,
Melvin,
Cora,
Alifair,
Adeline, you've got these other people there. Now you've got to kill them because they're a witness to what you're doing, killing the other witnesses.
Yeah.
What a mess. What a mess.
It's sad.
So, initially, there was 13 of them. 13 of them scheduled to go to Randall McCoy's. 13 was supposed to meet here tonight. And we're going to go this evening to Randall McCoy's over in Kentucky. Have some fun.
Yep.
Cap told them.
Yeah.
Cap went to their houses and told them, get you a horse, meet us at the river. We're going to Kentucky. We're going to have some fun tonight.
Yeah. Alex had trouble finding a horse, but he got one, he said.
Alex Messer said he had a problem finding a horse, but he finally got one. He met up with him.
Yep.
They said they didn't really know what was going to go on until they got there to Devil Anse's, till they met. And when they got ready to leave there, they all got on their horses. They had their plan made up. And Ants was standing there. And, ain't you going, Ants? No. Boys, I'm feeling under the weather. You guys go on. Give them hell. Give them hell, he says. You're not going with us? No, I'm just not feeling like it. One of them said, well, hey, Ants, why don't we wait? Because, see, that's their leader. Remember now, the West Virginia Hatfields have always wanted to tell you, Ants was the captain. Ants was the leader. Ants was, until boys get tied up to trees and get killed, until cabins get burned, until old women get beat, until all these things happen, all of a sudden, Ants was a good man. He didn't know nothing about that. Well, he knew about this. He planned it. This was his plan. He was the great manipulator, but he didn't want to be part of it. Remember, he's already got warrants out on him. They're coming trying to arrest him. That's what he's trying to do now, is get this taken care of. Now, all these people that says Ants was a loving father, loving man, really? How many of you out there would send your children? How many of you out there would send your children to go do your dirty work, to go kill somebody and their family? You know, initially Wall Hatfield was there. This is where Devil Ants and Wall fell out. I want to give you one little history lesson here. Back at the pawpaw trees in 1882, guess who else was there besides Wall Hatfield and all these people that was lined up? Look on that list that Sheila's always posting of the 20 names. You'll see a name on there. Elias Hatfield. That was good Elias. Good Elias Hatfield was with them when they took the McCoy boys from the schoolhouse back to the Kentucky side of the Tug River. He didn't know they was going to kill them. He didn't know it. He was there for his brothers. Wall was there. Devil Ants was there. Ellison had died. Good Elias was there. And that's when Good Elias said, no, Ants, when he seen he was going to kill them. Don't do that. That's not good. Well, get to shooting or get out of here. Now they indicted Elias because he was there. Elias went to the governor of Kentucky and all this and that, prosecutors, and he got his name removed. He was innocent. He didn't take no part in the killings. That's when Devil Ants and Elias fell out. And Elias says that Devil Ants put a hit out on him. He didn't use those words, but he says, shoot him on sight.
Shoot him on sight. He was afraid of Devil Ants because he was afraid that he was going to get killed.
Yeah.
For not doing what Devil Ants wanted him to do.
And what did Selkirk say if you didn't?
Nothing doing until he got even with you, got back at you. So
Selkirk said Devil Ants was the most vengeful man he'd ever met in his life. There wasn't nothing doing if he got mad at you till he got revenge on you.
Yeah.
Now, at that, going to that cabin when Wall was there, when they all called that meeting, Wall Hatfield was there, this one. Now remember, Wall was at the shooting of the 3 McCoy boys. He was actually indicted. He actually shot.
What he got in trouble for.
Yeah, and he was indicted. And Wall was there at the cabin that night when all of a sudden they started making plans to kill them all. And Wall didn't want nothing to do with it. I'm through. I'm through, Ants. I'm not doing it. I'm not killing nobody else. Ants told him, get the hell out. Get the hell out of here. Get off my property. Don't never want to talk to you again. Don't never want to see you again. Remember when Wall Hatfield died in prison, when he was finally arrested by Frank Phillips and stood trial? He went to prison. He died in prison. Devil Anse never even, he cared so much about his brothers that when Ellison was stabbed, he killed 3 boys over it. But he didn't care enough about his other brother. And me, I've got brothers. Me and my brothers have fallen out before. But let one of them die and nobody go pick up their body, I'll go get their body and give them a burial, even if we're mad at each other. Not Ants. Ants, leave him lay. Leave him where he'd be. So these guys, they're saying, Ants, go with us. He's saying, I can't, I'm sick. They said, let's wait till tomorrow. No, this needs to be done. You guys go on, give them hell. Remember, they was 13 to begin with. As they ride off on their horses toward Kentucky, 4 of them decides, hey, guys, listen, I don't think I'm going to go. I'm feeling a little bit ill myself. And there was 4 of them that backed out. 4 of them rode off. They went back home. They were mad because if Ants wasn't going to go, why would they stick their neck out and go? Now, this is where Jim Vance gave them the speech and told them, I'm in charge. And guys, from here on forward, you're going to do what I say, when I say, what I say. She's going to put the statements at the back of the video, and you can read them.
I'll take a picture of them and then put them at the end so everybody can see it for their own self.
And they head on toward the cabin.
Yep. And Jim Vance, he was the leader of that group at that time.
He was the leader. That says that right in the statement. Some people want you to believe that Jim Vance wasn't there. Jim Vance was an honorable man. Jim Vance was a good man. I don't think Jim Vance was portrayed like History Channel portrayed him, like they portrayed Perry Klein as a pedophile. They portrayed Jim Vance as a, whatever it's called, he fooled with his dog, and we don't believe that. Jim Vance was a mean man, though. He was a mean man.
Read that.
Jim Vance was a man's man because he'd stand up and fight, shoot it out, whatever he wanted to do. All right. Let's move on. Well, I'm saying he's a man's man. Now I'm getting ready to tell you that he goes over and sticks fire to a man's cabin. But now here we are. Here's Randall and Sarah and their children.
They're all snug, safe and warm in their bed.
And their grandchildren.
Sleeping so good.
And they're sleeping so good on this cold winter New Year's Eve night.
Had no clue what was about to happen.
No clue what was about to happen. Jim Vance and them ride on over to Kentucky, go down Blackberry Fork, and they get there and they get off their horses, and they start walking up towards the house, and all of a sudden the old dog started barking. His old coonhound started barking. Randall and Calvin get up. They knew the difference. See, if you're from the country, we had coonhounds growing up, and you could always tell if your dog had something treed or barking at a cat, or you could tell if it was a person barking. So they surround the house, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. They start shooting.
Yeah.
When they start shooting, Randall McCoy and Calvin start shooting back. Now, kids are scrambling everywhere, Sarah's running. Nobody knows. Can you imagine being in bed at your night, sleeping?
Woken up.
And woken up like that right there, peaceful. You know, Randall never expected this. If you remember in one of the statements by Martha McCoy, her and Rosanna was up in the attic one time when some of the Hatfield gang had come to their cabin. And they was up there hiding in the attic, and they stepped on a board and it cracked, and they took off, and they come down out of the attic, and Sarah said, what's wrong? And they said, we scared. It was the Hatfields. Sarah said, "Don't worry about it, youngins. The West Virginia Hatfields will never hurt women and children." Boy, was she wrong. Yeah. So all hell breaks loose. They're shooting into the cabin. Randall and Calvin are shooting out of the cabin. They're surrounded. They're all around. There's still 9 of them there. Still 9 of them there, and they're shooting. Tom Chambers, Mitchell climbs up on the roof, set fire to the house. You know, Randall and Calvin had a rifle. He had a Winchester rifle. Calvin was doing good with the rifle. All Randall McCoy had was birdshot. I don't know if y'all know what birdshot is. Birdshot is BBs. The more BBs you got, the better spread you got, the easier you can hit a bird or a quail or a pheasant, duck. And that's what it's for. It's not for penetrating through heavy clothing, winter coats, huh?
It's not for protection.
It's not for protection, self-defense. Yeah. You'd want double alt buck or slug or even number 4 shot. But you don't want dove shot and bird shot and all that. That's what Randall had. That's all he had. Randall wasn't a mean man. Randall wasn't out here to fight a war. He was out here to survive. Garden, farm animals, birds, fish. So the cabin's on fire.
Yep. Randall shoots Tom Chambers.
Tom Chambers' hand off.
Shoots his fingers off. And Jim Vance sets fire.
Sets fire to the house. He went ahead and finished up with the fire. But now the cabin's burning. Alifair, they had some, we got a churn right over there. Yeah, had a churn right over there. And that's what they kept their butter in, their milk to make churn butter. And it's sitting there where they'd been churning more than likely. And Alifair takes the butter, or the half milk, half butter, tries to douse it on the fire. It doesn't help, so she grabs the wash pan over on the other side, not that wash pan, but there's one over there,
right,
like you would have had back in that day. Grabbed her wash pan, going to run out to the well and get her some water. Opens the door, you hear Alifair say, "Cat." You hear a bang, boom. Randall's daughter falls dead, shot through the breast. Last thing she said was "Cat." Not Cotton Top,
No.
not Ellison, not Johnsy, Jim Vance. She said "Cat," meaning she saw Cat.
She knew who it was. She had a clear view.
Yeah. At that time, Randall's still firing out the windows. They're going from back to the front. Calvin tells his dad, "I'm gonna try to get to the corn crib and draw their fire." They thought that if Randall left, that the fight would be over. They didn't know they were there to kill everybody. Now guys, I'm gonna tell you something about, and there's newspapers to back this up, there's newspaper stories. It's sad how over the years people have misrepresented this story and this man's legacy. Randall McCoy stayed and fought in the Civil War when Devil Anse Hatfield deserted and ran home. Now they say, "Oh, he got leave." Well, no, that's not what the Civil War muster rolls say. Why would the Civil War muster rolls say deserter when he got leave? That's not true, see? So believe what you want, but we'll give you the story, we'll give you the truth, and you can tell it any way you want. Randall McCoy stayed and fought the Civil War when others run and left. Do you actually believe this man is going to run and hide and leave his family and his grandchildren in this house to be slaughtered? What kind of man do you think this guy was that fought in the Civil War that could have just as easily rode off with Devil Anse and his 13 to 16 family members and friends when they left? He could have left with them that day. He didn't. He's not a runner. No. There's runners and there's those that don't run.
That was his family. Why would he run and leave his family? I mean, if he stayed in the war to fight for people and stuff that there wasn't family, why would he run and leave his family?
He wasn't. But that has been a West Virginia Hatfield. That's been Devil Anse. You know, Devil Anse, when he deserted, everything in life we've said, that everything that's ever been blamed or that the West Virginia Hatfields did, they've always turned it around and tried to act like it was the Kentucky McCoys. And that's another. Devil Anse had run and deserted the Civil War. Now we've got a story out there that Randall McCoy run and hid in the corn crib. No, they took half the story. They took the corn crib. That's where Calvin was
headed to, yeah.
He was running to the corn crib.
Trying to draw fire off in the house.
Well, he was going to try to get in a triangulation where Randall could shoot from one direction, he could shoot from another. I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he was trying to draw far away from the children that's in the house. Who knows? We wasn't there. They shot him in the back of the head and killed him dead. Now when they done that, Sarah runs out to Alifair. Jim Vance runs up. Johnson meets her with the butts of their guns, kicks her. Randall McCoy, now you gotta understand, see a lot of people says, well, where was Randall? Where was it? Well, I wasn't there. But I have a feeling that with that house being surrounded, that he's probably at the back trying to watch the back door, shooting out the back a little bit, coming back, shooting out the front. That's what I would be doing, and I'm
trying to guard both doors.
There's people in this life that actually, that's what I would be doing. I would be all over that place. You can't just stand and shoot out the front, knowing that the back door's there, or that you've got these windows. They've got no protection. They don't have their shutters shut. They don't care about the windows being open. More than likely, the windows were clear to let the sunlight come in during the day. A lot of people, if there was any windows in the cabin. But I have a feeling Randall was at the back of the cabin shooting out toward where they say Cotton Top was. When he comes back, he sees the door open. Calvin's gone. Alifair's gone. Sarah's gone. Runs out the door. He's got both barrels. She'll print the newspaper. Newspaper says that Randall McCoy come out the front, firing both barrels. He'd done shot Tom Chambers. Now he shoots Chauncey, Cap, and Cotton Top. And Cotton Top had to stop on his way home. They had to drop him off at the doctor's office to get the pellets taken out of him. Now he hit Chauncey in the shoulder, Cap in the shoulder. But it was birdshot. All they've got is some BBs in them, especially with big winter coats. But they had to be right there close to him for them to penetrate the winter coats like that. To even get some BBs impaled in their skin. And that's what Sheila and I, we just wanted to, imagine waking up in the middle tonight at 1 o'clock in the morning. At 1 o'clock tonight, after you've done saying high and all this and that, and gone to bed and you're asleep, and you wake up sometime during tonight thinking to yourself about Randall and Sarah McCoy and their children and grandchildren. How abruptly
an intruder, basically.
They were awakened. Yeah, murders.
For this day and time,
Murders.
Yeah.
They were there to murder that family.
Yeah.
Now Cotton Top says in his statement when they were riding off, he said, we sure made a mess of this. Had we got the old man, it would have been okay, but we made a mess of this. There'll be trouble over this. Well, they were. The people of Kentucky, Pond Creek, Peter Creek, Blackberry, McCarn, they got together. People that didn't want to be involved in no feud, no family scruggus, no ruckus. They got involved and they joined together in the posse.
Yeah.
And they took off to West Virginia and they hunted and finally they found Jim Vance and Cap over there in the woods at Thacker. Jim had come out to get his victuals that morning. His wife was going to meet him on the roadway, the path. And they saw his wife, and they watched her, and she was taking Jim his groceries, and he'd come out of the woods, and when he did, they pounced on him.
Yep.
Shootout ensued. Cap took off. Cap took a bullet that day.
He was wounded, yeah.
We was talking to the granddaughter of Dr. Dana Moore. And she says Cap was telling him, the doctor, one time about how he had the bullet in there from that, or he took the bullet out. I can't remember, but Cap had got shot in, when they killed Jim Vance that day.
Yep, he was wounded.
Guys, I think that's... Sorry guys, battery went dead. We was getting ready to close this video out anyway, so we were almost done. Sheila, you got anything to say?
Well, I just would say this. They kept saying that he was bitter and stuff, but as a parent myself, you know, I can understand where he's coming from. They lost a lot of their children. They lost, you know, that's something, much less one. I can imagine going through what they did, and then people saying they're just bitter.
With 6.
Yeah.
Not just 6, but you gotta understand, they killed Asa Harmon, his brother, and
Yeah.
they killed his nephew, Jeff. I mean, they killed his brother and his nephew.
Yep.
You know, Rosanna died. She had an unhappy life. She was a sad person. The baby had
He
died.
died.
You know, look at the death that
Really?
Randall and Sarah have had to endure during that time. And then, you know, poor old things, what people don't, most of the people says, "Phooey on Randall McCoy, never would make peace with devil lands." Well, goodness sakes, who would? Friends like that, Randall McCoy didn't need enemies. But the other people says that, oh God, I
They
lost my
blame them. They blame Randall McCoy for the way he is and stuff, and that they were mad at him because he wouldn't forgive Devil Ann.
Yeah.
That is something.
It's a sad thing. Thanks for joining us on this, on Sheila's birthday. Thanks for joining us on this New Year's Eve, 2023. And we hope you have a wonderful New Year, everybody, and hope God blesses you all.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll just start off to a new year, and see you next time.
I hope this brought some understanding to Randall and Sarah.
Oh yeah, you know, we hope so,
Massacre.
because sometimes you can watch a video or something and gives you a better understanding on something than maybe just reading it in a book or
Yeah.
hearing a story on it. But I don't know if you had to, I wish you would have talked more and explained more, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't talk a lot, guys.
Sheila and I are, Sheila has done so much research in life with the Hatfields and McCoys and with what we do with our videos, with her videos, and with our books and different things. And Sheila's more of the behind the scenes kind of person.
Exactly.
And I'm really just in front of the scenes because we have nobody else. I wish we had
Because I
somebody.
won't do it.
I wish we had somebody that was a better speaker and a calmer speaker and
You do a good
it
job.
is what it is. Like I said, maybe someday if somebody ever talks about your family name or your family history and it's incorrect on your family, then you might get to say, well, wait a minute, I see how that little bald-headed fella felt now. I see where he's coming from. And over the last 20 years especially, since they've revitalized the feud, since they brought the Hatfield-McCoy feud back to the forefront, about 24 years now. This is 2024. It was about 1999, the year 2000, when Pike County decided that they were going to start promoting the Hatfield-McCoy feud, the Hatfield-McCoy families for tourism.
Yeah, to bring
Coal mines were slowing down, and they said, hey, we got to have something, we got to bring something in here for tourism. Let's put a bunch of grave markers up, let's put a bunch of monuments, let's put a bunch of historical markers, and let's start promoting some tourism. Daggone, that's great. There's nothing wrong with having tourism. There's nothing wrong with bringing people in there and letting them see these sites. Like I said, we grew up, Sheila and I grew up right there at them. Sheila grew up right down below Randall McCoy's home place.
Yeah.
And I grew up right up the road from Preacher Ant's Hatfield and the election ground, the pig trial cabin and so forth.
Yep.
And where they messed up at, they got people, and I guess they had no choice. Maybe you can look at it like that, but none of the local people wanted to be involved with the Hatfield-McCoy feud. We were grown up to not really discuss the feud to the depths, and that's why we didn't discuss it then like we do now, because it causes hard feelings. It's always going to be like that. There's two sides to every story, and one side only talked back then, and that was Devil Anse Hatfield's side. Randall McCoy didn't talk to the media. He didn't talk to the press. What's he going to do? Tell them how sad he was that his family's getting killed off? So, they brought people in there from other states because they happen to have the name Hatfield or McCoy. And they brought them in from Virginia, Oklahoma, Raleigh, North Carolina, Waycross, Georgia. I wish you all could see that. I wish that camera was on my foot.
Gotcha, I don't know.
I wish that camera was on my foot. She couldn't do this because the camera's on her. She's down there kicking me on the foot.
I'm gently tapping your toe.
Guys, Happy New Year. Thanks.
God bless you all. Bye.
But they are some troublemakers out there.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one.